Mario, everyone knows him, and he's now over 40 years old. There's a lot of media about this little mustache dude. Like his several manga and TV series, and he actually has more than two movies, surprisingly, and his over 200 video games as of March 2025. My god, this is gonna take forever. This outline's like 11 pages long. It's 1981 and Donkey Kong releases in arcades. This is the first time not only has Nintendo garnered attention from the Japanese market, but also for the first time, the West market, which is sort of snowball effect we still see to this day. This is also the first ever platforming game to include jumping. In the MS-DOS port of Donkey Kong is the first time where the lady is actually referred to as Pauline. Donkey Kong revolves around Mario trying to save Pauline from the antagonist Donkey Kong over the course of 4 different levels. Also power-ups in this game in the form of a hammer, which lets you destroy anything in your way, but you can't jump, making it useless 90% of the time. There's also a kill screen level 22 that makes it impossible to progress any further, which I can't describe very well, so here's a direct quote from the Mario Wiki. All the games intended to be playable indefinitely by not having the level cap, it is not normally possible to complete the first level on level 22 due to a glitch within the calculation of the level's time limit. This is the 85th screen, the later Japanese version, as there are 4 screens per level version, and the 117th screen in the international versions. The time limit for each level is shown as the remaining bonus, which is displayed in the top right corner of the screen in the bonus counter. Once a bonus count hits 0, Mario dies. Initial bonus calculation is 10 times level plus 40 multiplied by 100, and decreases by 100 at a time. The base value before multiplying 100 is stored as an 8-bit integer, which can only store values up to 255. Level 22, the bonus would be 260, but because this number is too large for 1-bit style, it overflows module 256, which means the base value becomes 4, corresponding to an initial bonus of just 400. As a result, Mario dies a few seconds after starting level 22, being unable to finish it. Steve Weave was one of the first people to reach the kill screen back in 1989.
The kill screen kicked it. Walter Day stated that this was the highest score ever done, and this is the first kill screen achieved on FunSpot's machine. Steve Wiebe has become the third person to reach Donkey Kong's kill screen.
The game was invented by Shigeru Miyamoto, turning a bad-selling game, Radar Scope, into one of the best-selling games of all time. This game was based off of lots of 1930s American media like Popeye and King Kong. Nintendo actually had 3 lawsuits over the game. The first was by Universal for infringing on the rights of their King Kong movie. This was ultimately won by Nintendo, with Universal having to pay $1.8 million to Nintendo. The next was Nintendo suing Falcon, a production company, helping production copies of their game. In the agreement, Nintendo said that it could produce a limited amount, but Falcon produced over 9,000 Donkey Kong PCBs. Finally, Nintendo was sued by Ikegami Tsushiki for breaking their contract for producing arcade boards on their own and reusing his code in a later game. The lawsuit was in the end settled out of court. Crazy Kong is a game made for the Japanese market, trying and help with shortage of Donkey Kong arcade cabinets. Now I'm going to be honest, this is just the same as Donkey Kong, but so much worse. They replaced all the sound effects with noises that make my ears bleed. They changed the color palette to the ugliest thing imaginable, and the game is faster, but Mario moves the same speed, making the game way harder than it needs to be. And I'm definitely not saying that just because I was stuck on the same screen for an hour straight. Just a few months later, they released Crazy Kong Part 2. The second version is just the same game, but 10 times better. The audio doesn't make my ears bleed anymore. The sprites actually look okay. Starting from level 2, it's actually even harder, because this game doesn't make me rage enough. 1982. Donkey Kong would eventually get a Game & Watch version, which looks very similar to a console that would be released 2 decades later. This is also the first time the D-pad was introduced, and is still used on all modern controllers to this day. The actual game itself is just another cheap clone of Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Jr. is the sequel to Donkey Kong, and in this one, the roles are reversed as Donkey Kong is captured, with Mario being the villain, and Jr. having to go rescue his dad. Only for at the end, Mario to just die, I guess? The gameplay of Donkey Kong Jr. is much more satisfying, with what lines you grab onto altering your speed, which is much more interesting than just climbing up ladders and jumping, like the previous game. This one also has a kill screen on level 22, which I'm not going in depth on since I already spent like a minute on the original kill screen. Donkey Kong Jr. also got a Game & Watch version, which simplified the game, This was also the first Game & Watch game to be released in widescreen. Unlike the original in this version, you have to free Donkey Kong 4 times, with after each time getting faster and faster until you eventually beat the game. The next game is Greenhouse for the Game & Watch, which is the first time they featured Stanley, which we will see much more of in Donkey Kong 3. The gameplay consists of spraying bugs trying to eat flowers inside of the greenhouse. It's pretty basic, honestly. Donkey Kong 2 was another Game & Watch game, which is just the final level of Donkey Kong Jr., but on a Game & Watch. Not much to say about this one. Mario Bros. For the Game & Watch is the first game to feature Luigi. You play as the brothers working in a factory, packaging bottles, with you controlling Mario on the right side of the screen and Luigi being on the left side. In this next game, Mario is working on a cement factory because why not? Mario needs to jump across platforms, emptying the cement into the cement trucks before the containers overflow. Overall, it's just another basic Game & Watch game. That's pretty much it. Next up is Mario Bros., where they are finally plumbers. Unlike in modern Mario games, you can't jump on enemies. You have to go under them, hit the floor, then run up to them so you can kill them. In the center of the stage, there is a power block that will stun every enemy on the screen, but you can only use it 3 times. The final game in the classic trilogy, Donkey Kong 3. So the entire story of the game is that Donkey Kong breaks into Stanley's greenhouse and he needs to protect it. There are 3 different stages in this game, all of them being pretty easy. The goal of each level is to spray Donkey Kong to push him up into the beehive while enemies are coming after you. And if you don't attack Donkey Kong for long enough, he will start coming back down to the vines. You can also get a power up in the form of the Super Sprayer, which is extremely overpowered. Mario Bumps Away is a game where, I'm sorry, am I reading that right? He fights in the Vietnam War and has to deliver bombs to blow up the opposing soldiers? Sorry, but what? Donkey Kong Jr. Math is an educational game for the NES. There are 2 modes. The first one, you have to make an equation to match the number Donkey Kong has on his sign. In the second mode, you start with a number and have to get to the number that Donkey Kong has on his sign. Saturday Supercade was an old Saturday morning cartoon series running on CBS. Each episode was about an hour long, with 4 mini episodes inside of it, following 1 of 7 popular arcade games at the time: Donkey Kong Jr., Frogger, Hubert, Pitfall, Kangaroo, and Space Ace. Sadly, a lot of the episodes are lost media, with 5 of the 19 Donkey Kong episodes being lost, and 3 of the 13 Donkey Kong Jr. episodes being lost, with the only way to watch them being through old-time recordings, now uploaded on either YouTube or archive.org. Each episode of Donkey Kong usually follows some criminals manipulating Donkey Kong, using him for their own good, and Mario has to go and stop them. In Donkey Kong Jr., him and Bones Bailey, his new friend, go on adventures trying to find Jr.'s dad. Pinball is a game about pinball. Whoa, who could have seen that coming? Oh, also this game is in the video because there's a bonus stage with Pauline and Mario. Golf is a game about golf. Oh my god, look, it's Mario. It's almost like that's what the video's about. Crazy. This game features 18 different holes, which honestly is pretty impressive for the hardware at the time. The gameplay is pretty much a dumbed down version of modern golf games, them honestly being pretty similar. Versus Wrecking Crew is a game made for the Versus system where you and a friend could compete and see who could get the most points destroying objects without dying. After destroying all the objects on the floor, you would move to the next one. Donkey Kong 3 for the Game & Watch features you playing as Stanley having to spray bees towards Donkey Kong, but he also has a sprayer, so you have to be careful. You can also play this game in 2 players, with one person controlling Stanley and one person controlling Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Circus is a game where Donkey Kong has to juggle a pineapple without letting them drop and without catching the fire. If one of those 2 things happens, it will result in a game over. Donkey Kong Hockey is yet another Game & Watch game. You try to hit the puck into Donkey Kong's goal. If it hits this thing called a crazy spot, the puck will speed up and go in a random direction. This game can either be played alone, with the CPU, or with a friend. Wrecking Crew is pretty much the same as Wrecking Crew Versus, but you play by yourself. This game did have a stage creator though, being way before its time. This year was finally the release of Super Mario Bros., the game that saved the video game market and kicked off the Mario franchise. The story of the game is you need to save Princess Peach, who can save the Toads who have been turned to stone by the Koopas. Mario is one of the first big platformers of its time. It was the first games to bring us worlds. Also, this game is a lot harder than I remember. It took 4 hours to beat. The first game is pretty basic. The only power-ups are the Mushroom, Fire Flower, and Star. The game also contains many bugs, like the Minus World glitch that takes it to an endless water level. You can also jump over the flagpole in 1-1. The game surprisingly takes a heavy inspiration from The Legend of Zelda, which was being developed at the same time. It had many of the same developers on both teams. The game originally had Mario shooting enemies, which was far different than what we eventually got. Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels is a game that was only released in Japan. The story of the game is that we need to go rescue Princess Peach again. I'm starting to notice a pattern. In this game, the jumping seems to be a lot more floaty. This is the first game that gave Mario and Luigi different mechanics, with Luigi jumping higher but being more slippery. The game also has 13 worlds instead of the traditional 8, which you can unlock by beating the game without using warp pipes 8 different times. The Mario Game & Watch game is probably the most advanced Game & Watch game. It is pretty much just like a normal Mario game. It was made on 12 lines of code. I'm Teacher Super Mario Sweater is a tool will telling you how to knit sweaters with different Mario characters on them. There are 15 different sweater patterns you can make, and honestly, some of these look sick. Super Mario Bros. Princess Peach Rescue Operation is the first Mario movie to ever be released, which was only released in Japan. The plot consists of Mario and Luigi traveling to another dimension to save Princess Peach, who has been kidnapped by Bowser. Along the way, they must collect 3 power-ups: the Mushroom, Flower, and Star. After they collect them all, they head to Bowser's castle and rescue Peach. This movie also has a bunch of weird characters not in the games, like this blue dog, this Gandalf guy, and Bowser's dad, apparently. Also, this movie is actually insane. I found this while looking through promotional material, and they also reference the Flower Kingdom almost 40 years before Mario Wonder came out. There were 3 short manga series about the first 3 Mario games, and I honestly can't find anything about them online. They honestly may just be lost media. Super Mario Kun Goku is a manga targeted at second graders, which consists of 13 chapters, each of them having Mario and Bowser fighting in some sort of way. Golf Japan Course and Golf US Course were released for the Famicom Disk System, only released in Japan. These games added more holes and features, improving the previous game. There was also a competition for these games, with the winners getting a golden cartridge. Famicom Grand Prix F1 Race is the original Mario Kart. That's right, the game where Mario competes in the F1 is the inspiration for Mario Kart. The game has different levels consisting of 4 tracks each and different vehicles that have varying stats, like what we see in modern Mario Kart games. Famicom Grand Prix 2 3D Hot Rally is another predecessor to Mario Kart. This game could also be played in 3D with a special pair of goggles. Once again, this game was only released in Japan for the Famicom 3D system. The game has many splitting tracks, and instead of racing against other racers, you try and finish the race before time runs out. These are also monsters that will try and slow you down on your way to the finish line. Super Mario Bros. 2 finally released in the USA, but it was an entirely different game. In this game, you could pick from 4 different characters who all play differently. This game also introduces dozens of new enemies, and instead of stomping them to kill them, you need to throw something at them. At the end of each level, you must fight a mini-boss, Birdo, who will progressively get more difficult in later levels. You can also collect coins throughout the level, have a chance to win the slot machine for extra lives. There are 7 worlds in this game, each consisting of 3 levels, except for the final world, which has 2 levels. This game ended up doing very well, becoming the 4th best-selling NES game of all time. Donkey Kong Classic was also released, which is a compilation of Donkey Kong games featuring the original and its sequel, Donkey Kong Jr. Super Mario Bros. 3 is the most influential Mario game of all time. Pretty much all future 2D Mario games would be a copy of this one, with a world map and optional level to choose from, and the fortress halfway through each world, which have always contained a boss fight with Boom Boom. In this game, they also added toad houses, which Mario could go inside and play a mini-game, in hopes of winning a power-up. They also added the 7 Koopalings as bosses at the end of each world. The story of the game is that Bowser's kids have turned the 7 kings into animals, and Mario needs to go turn them back. But turns out this is all a ploy, as Bowser kidnaps Princess Peach and takes her to the Dark Lands for her to be rescued. The game adds 2 new power-ups: the Tanuki suit that allows Mario to hit things with his tail and fly. The Hammer suit lets Mario throw hammers at enemies like a hammer bro. The Frog suit lets Mario swim much faster in water and jump much higher. Also, can we talk about how damn good looking this is for an NES game? I mean, just look at it. Miracle Peach is a 4-page manga series targeted at preschoolers. The manga is about Princess Peach hanging out with Bowser and Mario using her staff, and something would go wrong. The series was cancelled shortly after its release. Super Mario manga, published by Kodansha, ran for 10 years until they lost the rights in 1998. The manga changed based on which Mario game was out at the time. Covered Super Mario Bros. 3, Mario Land 1 and 2, Mario Sports, Dr. Mario, Super Mario World, Mario Kart, Wario Land, Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario 64, and Yoshi's Island. Also, I'm sorry, but apparently the manga includes nudity. Super Mario Land is the first Mario game released for the Game Boy. This is the shortest main series Mario game, with there only being 12 levels in the entire game. The story is that an alien comes and hypnotizes everyone in Land and is trying to marry Daisy. Mario needs to go stop him. This is also the first time ever Daisy makes a debut. The game mostly consists of the normal Mario platformer, but there are two levels where Mario is in a submarine or a jet, and Mario has to shoot down enemies using the B button. The game sold very well, being the fourth best-selling Game Boy game of all time. Baseball for the Game Boy is based on, well, baseball. The gameplay is pretty much the same as every baseball game ever, except each character has stats, which is pretty impressive for a Game Boy game. Also, the reason this game is here is because you can play as Mario, Luigi, even Yoshi before his first debut. Alleyway is a breakout clone for the Game Boy that features Mario controlling the paddle. There are three types of levels: normal where nothing happens, scrolling where the block move across the screen, and advanced where the blocks slowly move down. Every fourth level consists of a bonus level featuring a Mario character that gives you a bunch of points. On top of that, you get an extra life for every 1,000 points you get. There is a total of 32 stages, but it's insane how we got Mario Breakout before GTA 1. Tetris is a classic game. You've probably played some version of it before. It actually has a very interesting history, but that's not what this video is about. If you're interested, go watch the Tetris movie, I guess. Anyways, the reason this game is on in this video is because Mario and Luigi appear in two-player mode. That's pretty much it. Oh boy, another Mario Golf game. That's exactly what it is. It's a collection of Japan and USA cores ported to the Game Boy. Le Trésor de Super Mario is a TV show from France starring Mario as he gave viewers tips and tricks on NES games. There would also be a question during the episode, and you could mail an answer for the chance to win an NES. Super Mario Super Show consists of live action and animated episodes. Live action episodes, there would often be living in Brooklyn when they get interrupted by a celebrity guest star. In the animated episode, it features Mario, Luigi, Toad, and the princess trying to stop Bowser, with each episode often being a parody of something else. The story is that Mario and Luigi fell into the drain, which took them to the Mushroom Kingdom. They need to find a way back home. The series aired from September to December, with there being new episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The show is also the origins of the Mario we know today as a pasta-loving plumber from Brooklyn. Captain N is a show that is a big crossover with all of the big Nintendo characters at the time, like Samus, Kid Icarus, and Donkey Kong. Although Mario never appears, the story is Kevin gets sucked into Videoland, needs to help fight Mother Brain from Metroid, who is the main villain of the show. The creators said they had not played video games before, and the staff were given little to no reference material, which is actually insane. Donkey Kong in the show is depicted as a parody of King Kong who lives in his home, Kongland. King Koopa's Cool Cartoons, which only premiered in South Carolina, produced 65 episodes and even winning an Emmy. In the show, Koopa would take over public domain cartoons with occasional live action segments in front of a live child audience. The show faced controversy with the main actor for Koopa making sexual remarks to a woman on set, making racist remarks to a black kid in the audience, and yelling at the kids who were overwhelming his son, who was in the audience. The show was eventually canceled after the CEO of Disney sent a letter to the CEO of Fox saying the show undermined the morals of its live, youthful audience. Maybe that's a good thing, as its theme song was absolutely horrendous.
Who calls you one and come Koopa? I'm the pain who plays the game and knocks you for a Koopa. I'm Koopa Koopa. Koopa, king of the afternoon. I'm Koopa Koopa. Koopa, king of the cartoon.
Amada anime series Super Mario Bros. Is an anime that has 3 episodes, with each being based on a different Japanese fairy tale, where they replace the characters with Mario characters. The Wizard is this movie about a kid who runs away from home to go compete in a video game competition. It's honestly a very cute, underrated movie. At some point in the movie, you can see people playing Super Mario 2, and in the finals match, they play Super Mario 3, where they call level 1-3 World 2. Like, how do you mess up that badly? It's not that hard to understand.